Hello, guys. Welcome back to the show. My name is Reed Wheeler. I'm your host, and today with me, I have an amazing, sweet, and very kind guest with me today. Cierra, would you like to introduce yourself further?
Welcome to the Honors Podcast.
Hi guys, I'm Cierra Mahoney. I'm a double major in dance and elementary education, and I'm a senior about to graduate in like 10 days.
Awesome. And then where do you hail from?
Oh, I come from Perkiomenville, Pennsylvania. Give a little shout out to Hedman. Ask him to pronounce where I'm from. It's really, really funny. He laughs about it still to this day anytime I tell him where I'm from.
That's funny. Okay. And then what are you involved in around campus at HPU?
I'm involved in a lot. I have to say that. I am a resident assistant on campus. So I started out as an honors RA in Finch. So I was there for a year, and then I moved to Panther Commons. So that's fun. Besides that, I'm very involved in the dance department and the education department. In dance, I am the president of the HPU dance company. So that's been really fun. We've got to raise money for Backpack Beginnings and Salvation of Army of Asheville because this year we had that hurricane, so we gave our money to Asheville instead. We were originally going to go for Relay for Life, but we kind of changed that after the hurricane. So it's been really fun to give back to the community in that respect, but also I plan all of the weekly classes. So we have a weekly class on Friday that'll be taught by different students, and sometimes we'll coordinate master classes. Like Shelby Finney was just here, and there's been different resident choreographers and different performers that we got to learn from, so that's been super fun. We also help coordinate all the auditions and stuff for the fall and spring dances that we do, and Capstone, which is their senior dance project. That has been really exciting to get to know everyone in the program, especially being president. I see a lot of them through email and talk to them at different involvement fairs. So it's got to be great to learn everyone in the department and to really see how everyone grows over the 4 years, because you don't think that will change a lot, but everyone does, and it's kind of cool to see how the department grows and changes. That department has given me some of my best friends, so I've been very grateful for that, and I've been really excited to see how it goes, and kind of sad to give it all up in 10 days and not serve as president for that organization anymore. But I've really enjoyed that. Besides that, in dance, I've performed a lot in all of our concerts. I've done through dance company and the department. I've been to a bunch of conferences. I went to Chicago for the past 2 years, which has been a super fun experience. We got to perform and then explore the city. High Point is very fortunate where we get a lot of money for travel in terms of conferences. So they actually gave us an extra day in Chicago to explore all of the pretty museums and stuff. We went to the Science Museum. We got to learn all about Chicago and different things like that. So it was super cool to not only get to perform and network in the dance world, but also get to learn a little bit about the city. I've been to a few different states. I think we went to Ohio, Virginia, and we went to Raleigh, North Carolina, for the American College Dance Conference. So that is a conference where we take classes for about 4 days, and we get to present some of our work, both faculty and student. Usually it's one faculty and one student will get selected to present their work. So I've got to perform in those and learn different styles. That was my favorite thing to do throughout the process, is to just learn things that you will never learn kind of anywhere else. I took Mexican folk dance at one point. I took breakdancing. If you know me, you know I'm not a break dancer, but it was just fun to learn and stuff like that. We've been to sports medicine conferences where I get to learn about the anatomy of the body and how to prevent injury. So that was a really cool experience through that. And also through dance, I'm part of the National Honor Society of Dance Arts. It's a long name, but I have been a part of that, and I've gotten to learn different things about dance through there. It's an honor society open to dance majors and minors, and it's basically focused on dance education and as well as like fundraising and giving back to the community. So we've done things that have taught us about, like Michelle, one of our professors, taught us an anatomy course, which is super fun to learn about the body and how to prevent injury, honestly, in terms of when we're dancing and just when we're living, how to prevent injury. That was cool. And then we've also done things that, like, we've raised money through our Hearts program. Our money goes straight to the organization of our tour, so we're giving back to our community in that respect. And I think two or 3 years ago, we also got to do a program where we actually went out to the community and taught, like, a dance class. We haven't had as much capacity for that recently, but that's been really fun to do when you could. So I think that's about all with dance, and I have performed in about every production we've had 4 years and multiple capstones.
That's very cool. What type of dancer are you style-wise? What's your strong suit?
My like personal favorite is tap and jazz. Like if I'm choreographing something, it's gonna be most likely upbeat. There's gonna be like a lot of accents. So that's actually the fun part. Reed actually got to be in one of my pieces.
Yeah.
That was a fun experience. As a sophomore dance major and up, you have the ability to choreograph a piece, which is a super fun experience in terms of getting to know people, but also getting to work with individuals in a different capacity because in a lot of ways, you get to work with people in classes and through rehearsals that are held by faculty and even in sometimes student pieces, but it's fun to get to know people when you're kind of trying things. Like I know I have picked up in the last 2 years. My first year, it was very scripted. It was very by the book. You're going to do this, this, and this on 5, 6, 7, 8. And the past 2 years, I've really kind of stepped back from that and see what I can learn from other people. So it's been fun to get to know how people adapt to that when you say, so how would you feel if you tried this? And sometimes my laws of physics don't always agree. It's been fun to see how people take those challenges and kind of run with them and see how things evolve into kind of greater than you would ever see it. And I think that what I've learned from that is the power of collaboration. Because, like, for example, in the piece I was doing with Reed, there was a few moments where we just kind of tried multiple different options. At one point, I think we were on option E before something worked out. And it was just like, okay, how can you weave in between people? Is it possible for you to get from one end of the stage to the next, somehow dancing, not running in 4 counts? Can you flip over someone's back and land on your feet or land on your hands? That aspect was kind of cool. You got to try do a lot of trial and error and kind of get to know people in a way that you would in other capacities, because I think that's the cool part about dance is it's a very vulnerable point. I think like everyone, we all have fears, but you kind of play around with that and play around with how you try different things in dance because it kind of forces you to be open and vulnerable in ways that you don't always want to be, but in some ways it's like cool and healing and allows you to see people and to experience it in a different way. So I think that's really cool.
Very cool. Oh, you're definitely one of like the coolest people I've ever gotten to meet. So I'm very glad I got to know you, Cierra.
Oh, Reed, you're the best. Yeah, I've loved to meet new people. Like that's my thing. I've always been a chatty Cathy, if you will. I will talk to pretty much anyone. But I think that you learn the most from the people that you experience, both good and bad. You're not always... There's going to be people that... Or experiences, not always the people, sometimes the experiences that you're in, that don't always teach you the best things. Not like they did something wrong, but you always learn something from experiences. Even if it was just like someone is grumpy at the bus stop and it like really there's been days that people have, I don't think they meant to say it, like certain things, but it really bugged me. And then I was like, oh, okay, so when I'm here, no matter how I feel, I have to adapt. And I feel like even all experiences, good or bad, give you something to learn from. So I just enjoy seeing what you can take from other people. Not take, but like learn from other people. And
Yeah, I know what you mean.
see.
I have that philosophy too, I feel like. And I always think of this one Abraham Lincoln quote where he says, if you don't like a person, it means you just don't know them well enough yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like I go along with that. Okay, so that's a pretty good dance introduction of you. So I kind of want to talk, get your spiel of what this past year has looked like as an education major and what that looks like, because we're pretty unique with our HPU program that you do a teaching course load as an education senior. So what does that schedule look like for you, and what have you been doing from that?
Oh, pretty crazy. My year has been really crazy in the education department, but also I am on 2 different executive boards for education, so that's also adding to it. I'm on the Teachers of Tomorrow, which is a really cool program. If there's any education majors listening to that, you should definitely get involved in that club. We had a really cool teacher panel recently where we got to learn different things from different teachers, principals, educators in the world that gave advice on how to do well, thrive, and learn as much the most you can in the student teaching years, but also in your first years, and keep going, because education, we always joke that we're lifelong learners. You're always really learning something. Every class is different. Every day is different. So it was really cool to see them. And I'm also on the board for the Kappa Delta Pi, which is our Educational Honor Society. Sorry, I forgot the name for a second. That's been interesting to see the different Honor Society elements that have come with that, whether that be fundraisers or planning different experiences. We were trying to get a Olympia off the ground. Sadly, it won't work out this year, but we've set it up for next year. So we will be able to have kids in the local area get into academics and enjoy science stuff, book stuff, things that around here, at least, a lot of it is Title I school, so they may not have the money to do this, or the the staff that could run these events, because at least as educators, we always wear many hats, and at some point you have to know how many hats are too many hats. So that's been fun to get to plan all that. So that has taken up some of my nights for like 4 or 5 or 6, 7, a lot of nights a month. I'm a little bit busier than the average education major, but besides that, I do a student teaching practicum. I have 3rd grade right now. So in the fall, I only went 2 days a week from 7:30ish to like 11:30, 12. So I got to experience like how they run their day. I ended up staying just because I enjoyed my kids. I enjoyed my placement. I ended up staying a couple times, like 2 or 3 times the whole day, just to experience what it was like on those days and see how the whole day runs, because starting in January, I'm there from 6:45 in the morning until whenever we get done, which the school day ends at 2:30. So, but there's been days that I've got to school at 6:45 and I haven't left till 7:30 p.m. So depending on if there's stuff at night, there's like, parent meetings and all of that stuff. We had a Title I night, so we had to help coordinate. We actually did a Super Bowl program, Go Birds, based on how you can teach the children like math and reading and science through watching the Super Bowl. Like, can they add up the scores? Can they multiply the numbers together? Which numbers are even or odd for kindergartners? Like the colors, like different things that would be helpful for kids to practice while they're watching the big game, to help continue to grow as little learners. So that's been really fun to get to do, like see the kids grow and to get to do all the different things that you get to do as a teacher, put on those nights and get to watch all of those meetings, like parent meetings and different things, because I think that's the thing I'm going to need the most help with is how to deal with difficult people. That's one thing they should have a class on in any school, no matter who you go to, whatever major, how to deal with the people that are difficult. They just want to yell at you and they don't want to listen. And it's not always parents. Sometimes it can be like, I've had it. So it's fellow students. Like you're gonna have difficult people in every life. I just was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, that's the one course. Like everyone always asks, you get to your end of your college career, and they're like, what's the one course that you wish you had? How to deal with difficult people, how to manage individuals in a way that is kind, is respectful, is helpful to everyone's growth, but is also not letting you get walked over.
Yeah. That's hard.
So I think that's been one of the most like powerful things that I've been learning throughout that different things. How to manage children, and I've been enjoying to get to learn how to do third grade math because
What do you learn in third grade math?
You learn a lot of multiplication, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I remember in third grade.
They do fractions a lot differently than we do, like at least, but some of that is coming from a different state. They can only do it certain ways, and you have to kind of relearn everything you learned in third grade, thinking that you don't know all the information that you do know now, and how can you break it down? I think we all have had experiences where we're sitting at wherever you did homework and like not understanding it. Whoever helped you with homework, whether it be an older sister or whatever, like they know how to get there, but how to break it down to someone that doesn't have the background knowledge is interesting. It's a difficult job in some respects because you have to break it down in a way that every individual knows, and when that's tying it to a lot to the interest, so you have to know every student, but also how long they have to learn it before they zone out, which has been I think we all have a limit where like even if you're listening to something that you love the most, like what's the max time that you'll listen before you start to zone out and think about other things.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
cool. True. Math is hard. People always tell me I should be a teacher, and I'm like, no, thank you. Because this is why I feel like it's so hard and awesome about teaching is you explain it to a kid, they don't get it, and then you have to be able to explain it a different way for as many times as it takes. I feel like I only have one way I know how to explain things. And if they don't get it, they don't get it, and I'm done. I'm leaving. Like, I can't do it. So, like, that's what's so cool about, like, you and, like, other teachers, that ability to, like, figure out how to explain it different ways and the dedication to make sure the kid learns it the way they understand it. So, that's really cool. That's why I cannot teach. I don't have the patience for that.
I think you would make a good teacher, Reed. I think you...
I could only have smart kids, though. I could teach, like, the smart kid class.
I think you would do well with, like, high school or...
Yeah.
I don't think you could do elementary, but I think you could
I would vibe great with middle school.
Yeah.
Like, I could... Because if they give it to me, I would give it right back.
You're also, like, the perfect element of goofy. Like, I feel like some of what you're learning and is to, like, you're never too old to be a kid in some respect. Like, dress up for every crazy holiday. Be like I was laughing at our principal that came in one day and it was career day and she wrote professional napper, like just so something like that was really like fun for them, or like using sometimes their terminology, like you hear sigma a million times a day, or I forget what they say now, but all this different like things is like obviously make sure you know what they mean and make sure you like they're appropriate for school, but like sometimes throwing in like my kids love Minecraft, to throw in like a Minecraft like little video, or they love rap music. I made up an area rap the other day. It literally said length times width equals area, but like in like a rap tone. Don't ask me to rap it, but in like a rap tone, they loved it. They asked for that rap like every single day for a week. Yeah. So you just have to know your kids and it'll be fun.
Is the spring semester, is it still 2 days a week, or do you do more than that?
Oh, no. So for the spring semester, we're there.
Where you're doing it all day?
All day from 6:30-ish to at the earliest like 2:45. Yeah. But we do have a few days off. We have to do TPA, which is our professional portfolio that we have to submit to the state. It's very intense. There's a lot of pieces. It's just a lot of work. So there was a few days that we got off, to do work on that and to work with our professors to pass that. So it's been great that we passed it, and we can say that. But it was a lot of work, a lot of frustration on those days. But other than that, we don't really get any time off besides we get our spring break when they take their spring break. And I was lucky because I have gotten 2 days off to do professional learning stuff. So I am also starting my master's in education in STEM. So in one of our, yeah, I'm really excited about that. Like science has always been my.
Because you want to end up being like a middle school science teacher, right?
Oh, elementary, yeah. Like in here, it's elementary. In Pennsylvania, I could end up being in middle school because 5th grade can go elementary or middle school. But 3-5 science is like science and math are my thing. I get the chance, that would be really great. But one day I got to present, me and 2 of my other friends were selected to present our Marty project, which is a robotics project, to a bunch of teachers. So it was kind of intimidating be like the only one that are not like official teachers yet to present to a bunch of teachers, because it was kind of like a little bit of imposter syndrome. Like these teachers have been teaching for, some of them like 20, 30 years, and I did student teaching, but I never had my own classroom, and I'm telling them how to do this. But they loved it. It was great to teach them because especially some of them, they love to learn the new technology and how you can bring in interest to the classroom. And then I got to spend some time with Steve Spangler, which was super cool, on another day. So we had a class with him. We learned some different things about how he came about, I guess. A teacher that didn't even have a classroom. He was just kind of a push-in, as we call him, but a teacher that goes class to class teaching science. And then he kind of got his brand from there. And it's really cool to learn how different experiences kind of shape you and take you in different directions, because he kept saying that he was so mad, that he never had those first couple years that he didn't have his own classroom. But in hindsight, it was the best thing for him to get to learn from different teachers, to get to push in and try science in different grade levels every day, because it pushed him outside of his comfort zone. So I think that was a really cool experience. And we worked a little bit with him one-on-one, just the 5 education majors that are continuing our masters in STEM next year, to get to kind of learn from him. He gave us a bunch of lessons that he would do. He showed us some stuff. We got to play with matches and pens and see how it could erase these pilot pens could erase with fire and different heat, and play with water and pennies and different things that we kind of did as a kid, but kind of bring them back and see how we can integrate them into our students' learning. Was super cool.
Where are you doing this master's program?
I'm doing it here at High Point.
Yeah, very cool.
So I'll stay for next year and do that.
Yeah. So if you're interested in education, High Point has that master program for that. Yeah. That was fun. All right, let's take a transition into the past. Tell me about the childhood. What was your elementary education like? And where did you grow up in Pennsylvania? What was that growing up experience like? Were you a woodsy kid, suburban kid, city kid?
I am from really, really rural Pennsylvania. My house has 4 or 5 acres. So I kind of grew up kind of in the sticks. My mom is in cancer research. And so she worked for a big pharma company. So I grew up kind of playing with science. We used to do the Mentos and Diet Coke experiment at the beach anywhere we could. We would do that multiple days. We used to just use our backyard for kind of random things, sometimes science, sometimes nature. I used to be one of those funny kids that would pick up all the worms when it rained. So that was super fun.
What did you do with them?
I would just pick them up from my driveway and put them in the mud.
Oh, you saved the worms.
Yeah, I would. This is my favorite, my dad's favorite story to tell anyone. When I was about 12 or 13, how how old are you when you're in 7th grade? Like 13?
Yeah.
I had my backpack on. I was ready to go to the bus, and I discovered a frog in our pool. We had just gotten our in-ground pool, and this frog jumped in the pool, and I was determined to save this poor frog that was like struggling to get out of this pool because it can't survive the chlorine. And I fell in the pool trying to get the frog. I ended up grabbing the frog. Everything except the frog ended up being soaked. So the frog was safe, but I was not, and we had to dry everything in my
Because you jumped in with the backpack on.
I didn't like jump.
You fell.
Yeah, I was
You're reaching.
I was reaching for this frog and his little, and there was like, I think little babies next to it. I was trying to get this frog family, and I fell right into the pool. So like I was very nature and science heavy. I think that comes from, I went to a small Catholic school growing up, and we were kind of forced / heavily encouraged to do the science fair project every year. 5th grade to 8th grade it was graded, and then 4th grade you were like kind of supposed to start thinking about do projects. So we would do like all of these different things outside. We used to, and my school was very outdoorsy. Like starting in kindergarten, we'd have walks through the woods every day, and like my teacher used to hold school outside some days, like for like an hour. Like we weren't always outside, but as much as we could, we were outside. One of our 8th grade projects was planting a garden. That was interesting. So we had to do all this outdoors stuff and science stuff that we kind of inspired my outdoorsy nature, I guess. But also my parents and my family kind of tried anything. Like my brother, his science fair experiment was a hot dog launcher, and we still use it to this day to launch hot dogs in our backyard. So I just it was like growing up, it was very outdoorsy, very rural. I went to a camp outdoors all summer. We did archery, we did fishing, and then when you would fish, you would catch your own worms so that you would, yeah. So it was very, I guess, very different than this atmosphere, but it was kind of cool to kind of be with the land a little bit, grow your own vegetables, and do all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Do you want to live in a house that's like woodsy like that? Would you go back to that?
Yeah, I miss it. Like I'd say that's the one thing I miss the most being at High Point is coming from a place where you could see all the stars in the sky.
Yeah.
To not be able to lay on the field and like see all the stars and hear the crickets and hear the birds chirping. It's like funny how the things you complain about at home you miss the most. Like when you're sleeping in Pennsylvania, the last thing I want to hear when I'm trying to go to bed is all the crickets chirping. The cicadas have been a big thing, and they're really, really annoying if you hear like them buzzing all the time. But I miss it. Like I really miss sitting in the ground and not hearing bugs and seeing all the stars and kind of having the ambiance of that.
Yeah.
I want the silence in a way that this doesn't give. So I do miss that part.
I know what you mean. I miss the stars too, because where I grew up is like a dark zone, and you can see the Milky Way and all this stuff. So I definitely miss the stars too. So besides saving the worms, did you have like a favorite book or movie or TV show that you were really into growing up that kind of influenced your love for learning?
Honestly, I'm not a big reader.
Does that surprise people? Because I'm kind of surprised you're not a reader.
Yeah, a lot of people are surprised by that. Also, a lot of people are surprised by the fact that when I tell them I'm not a big reader because I couldn't read until I was like in like 8th grade. I went to
Fish in a Tree.
Yeah, I went to big time reading intervention for a while. I also have like a hair of attention issues, so I think that's where I also struggle with reading, because I will read like one page and then I will zone off in a different universe, and then I'll come back and forget everything I read.
Yeah.
So
that's so weird how that happens. Like you keep reading, but you're not like comprehending anything. That happens to me too. I'm like, what did I just read?
Yeah. So I'll have to like read it like 2 or 3 times before I usually get it. But I did have my one book growing up. It's like such an odd book for an 8th grader to be like, yeah, that's the book that changed my life. But It's called Looking for Alaska by John Green. And honestly, it's like very somber. Like it's about like this girl that kind of goes on this, I would say, journey, and there's a very sad ending, and it talks about a lot of life questions, like what is the purpose? Like what is the purpose of everything? Why do we do what we're doing? Like, is there a reason that you meet certain people at certain times? And I don't know why, but like still to this day, like people ask me my favorite book, and that's what it was. And like I don't know if 13-year-old Cierra really got what it was trying to do, but I would say like that, not in my love for learning, but like my philosophy on like, and my, how I see the world was definitely impacted by that book.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I have a book that's like my love for learning though. I think.
That's good. No, that's a good answer. John Green, all his books end so sadly.
Yeah.
Did you ever read The Fault in Our Stars?
Yes. That one really got me out. I actually, I saw the movie before I read the book. I didn't mean to. Like, it was just about, like, right when it came out.
Yeah.
And it's such, like, both the movie and the book are beautifully executed. I think that one really captivated me because it, not, like, I couldn't relate to the characters, but I could relate to some things that they were going through. I wasn't the one that was dying, but I did have a lot of family members at that time when I was reading and watching the movies that were going through, like, cancer journey and different things and slowly, essentially waiting for yourself to die. So, that one really stuck with me, too. Such a good.
Shout out John Green.
Yeah.
You got Cierra Mahoney. Okay. So that was a fun little childhood. You continue on your school journey, get into senior year. It's time to start going to college. What was the college journey like? What were you looking for in college? And then how did you end up at High Point?
That's kind of funny because both my major and my college are nowhere near where I thought I was going to go. Like you asked me senior year of high school, I was going to be an athletic trainer and I was going to go to Penn State University. Go Nittany Lions.
I would want to go to that multiverse and meet that Sierra.
Well, so here it's the thing, and like I think a lot of my like friends and my family are still like, oh, why did she not do that? Because growing up from age 13 to age 18, honestly, until about like 6 months before I made this decision, I wanted to be either a athletic trainer, a physical therapist, or a dance therapist. And I had it all planned out. I knew which schools I wanted to go to. I know what places I wanted to work at. And yeah, I love the anatomy of the body. I took an athletic training class and I love sports. Not always the best at explaining them, but I love watching them. And so I took this athletic training class and I was so enthralled on how to take care of injuries. We had this anatomy table in our high school, and I would play for hours on like the anatomy of the body because you could like pull the muscles back and then like see just. So I would play for hours and do all that, and then it's interesting. Like again, it goes back to the John Green philosophy things. It's like I think there's people and there's things that happen that are supposed to, because I don't know if I would have made it through school if I did PT or not that I enjoy it, but I don't think it was what I was supposed to be doing. I had this camper in camp before my senior year. I ended up being with my best friend, my childhood best friend, in our camp counseling situation. We had this really strong-willed, like 12-year-old boy, and he would push every button he could because he could and because he wanted to. I don't think he wanted to piss people off, but I think he wanted the attention of getting in trouble. So that's the one-on-one attention. I don't think he was a bad kid at all, but I think he taught me a lot. It's ironic because he's one of like that's the kid. I told my boss, I was talking to him the other day, I was like, that's the kid that got me into education. And he laughed at me because it's kids like that push all your buttons also make a difference because they teach you a lot. For me, like, it taught me the importance of having a relationship with them and how much difference you could make if you were. because like I said, he would push every single button. He would get under your skin. But you started to get to know him, and you started to get to know what he wanted, to ask about his parents and to ask about his favorite baseball team and how that baseball team went. He slowly opened up, and you would figure out why these behaviors were happening, because he just wanted attention. He wanted someone to listen to him. And I think that taught me that, like, we've all been in that situation where you just want someone to listen to you, even though you probably have a million people that will listen to you. Like, I know, in different respects, but sometimes it doesn't always feel that way. To have that person or someone to really take the time to get to know you that isn't related to you or didn't grow up with you, especially as a kid. For a kid, a lot of times that's special. For any person, that's special. But especially someone that may not be surrounded by adults that aren't related to them or aren't family friends, like, that's important to, like, this person wants to help me grow up. They want to see me succeed. And to know that you're on the same team is important. So I was sitting in my, in my room when I was trying to decide to go to college. And I was thinking, and I was like, I was ironically watching Grey's Anatomy. Again, I love the anatomy and all of that of the body. But I was talking to Adam, my friend, who was my camp counselor, and I was like, I feel like maybe like I could make a difference in the kids. And then I was talking to my old boss at that camp, and he said, I really thought you should go into education, but I didn't want to tell you that because I didn't want you to think I was just telling you what you should do with your life. And so that kind of changed my perspective, and everything that I was looking at kind of shifted, because I was like gonna go to Pitt or Penn State or Temple or all of that for a completely different major. Probably a major that would make me a lot more money, but would I be as happy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that kind of shifted for my major-wise. And then High Point just kind of happened by accident. It actually was the last school I applied to. I only applied to it because I got a fee waiver. And one of my friends was looking, she was a junior at this time, so she was a year younger than me. She was looking here for their communications degree. And they go, Cierra, you should really check this out. You love Disney so much. This is like a Disney. This is like Disney, but in college form. And so I was like, yeah, sure. Like, this was 2021. We were still in a lot of COVID things. I only actually got to tour Penn State Berks. I didn't even get to go to our Penn State main campus or any of the other college tours. So I just kind of threw in my name in a bunch of hats and see what stuck. I ended up getting into most of the colleges that I applied to. I applied to different majors at pretty much every school. Some of them I did dance, some of them I did education, and some of them I did athletic training and different things, because I was like, let me just keep my options open. And then at least I grew up Catholic, so like we were big persons, like, okay, leave it in God's hands. He'll tell you where to go, pretty much. Not literally, but open or close the doors based on where you're supposed to be. I got a email back about 6 months after I applied, I applied in September, and then I got it back in like January, or I'm sitting in class of my religion class. I'm supposed to be like reading, and I opened this email that says I got in and I got a scholarship, and I was invited to try and interview for a full ride at High Point. And I was like, well, maybe this is like life trying me. I should go. Like, if I have the opportunity to get a full scholarship here, like, you have to go try it. And then I came here, and I kind of never looked back. It felt like it was where I was supposed to be. It was where I needed to be, I think. I really wanted to get away from home, which is ironic because if you talk to me now, I'm like, I can't wait to go back. I wanted to start in a new state where no one knew me, so I could just, not that I had anything to hide back home or anything like that, but more so that, like,
Just to try something
Yeah,
new.
try something new. I think kind of fun and the scary. Like not knowing anyone, moving 8 hours away, that freaked me out. Like after I committed to it, I was like, did I make the wrong decision? I'm 8 hours away from home, 8 hours away from anyone I know. And those first couple weeks were scary. But I think that's where you grow the most, is those situations where you stick yourself in the uncomfortable, because you're kind of forced to grow and forced to change and adapt, and it's cool.
That's pretty good. Okay, so you had that really cool twist of ending up here, and then what brought you into the honors program? How did you decide on that?
So I was originally in the creative arts program. So I was originally in none of this. I was originally in the
Like
creative.
you were in the creative
I
arts.
was in the creative arts fellows. I had signed the thingy, but I had gotten into both because I saw the letters, and then you had to choose or whatever. So I had gotten into the creative arts fellows, the leadership fellows, and the honors program. Because like at my time, I don't think I had to write anything. I think it just was based off your.
Oh, it wasn't a separate application.
I don't believe so. I could be wrong, but I think it was all like in the Common App. I know now it's different, but Common App application where you could just select like what would you be interested in, and I was like leadership opportunities, creative stuff, and then the honors. And I went to tour here when I went to do my scholarship interview, and I think it was Ava Taylor gave my tour.
Aw.
Yeah, she's a great human being. And we passed the Finch, and she went on this whole long spiel about the honors program. And you could just see her face light up when she talked about it. And my parents were like, so you need to change that. And they were like, I really think it would be a good fit for you. So a bunch of hours on the phone with High Point University later. And they still think I'm in the Creative Arts Fellows in some respects. But we got to switch. I was able to switch to the honors program and ended up in Finch. But yeah, I think it was just like meeting that person that was like, I think you would do really well in that honors program. And I think they were right. I think it's good that we met, and I'm not in a different program.
That was great. And you've enjoyed being in the honors program as a senior, looking back on it?
Yeah, I think it's given me some really cool experiences that I never, ever would have thought of.
Yeah.
But experiences, like I, shout out to Professor Megan Blackledge. She has the best chemistry of food class. You should all take it. Like different things that I would never think taking. Like I'm a chemistry nerd. I love chemistry. I've always loved chemistry. But to take it from a different perspective, we talked about the chemistry in different things, and then we'd be in the chemistry lab baking steaks and Dippin' Dots and chocolate bars and melting Cheetos to see how many calories they are. And I just think the coolest thing about the honors program, besides the people, like in terms of the academic side, is their ability to take something typical and turn it into something you would never expect. Like something typical, chemistry, and then you get to see all of the different things. How to make cheese, we made sourdough breads, we made different things. I think it's really cool to get to see things from a different perspective and in ways that you wouldn't traditionally expect. Also, they gave me the cool experience of Prague that I will never forget. That was my favorite experience in the honors program to date. It was cool to see. We were the first class to ever do that, so it was really cool to get to experience that kind of as a first with all of the professors, with Hedman and Lepowski and Jay and Turner. And kind of we are all there. We are all new in a different country, and I feel like everyone, well, most people in a foreign country gets that feeling of imposter syndrome, but to get to experience that together and to learn from it and to grow from it and to do things that you would never think you would do. The amount of times I bought the wrong, like, different things because I tried to learn Czech and I was not good at it.
Yeah, I'm doing my Duolingo for it right now, and I'm like, what are these accents?
Yeah, it's really, really, really hard language to learn. But They are very, at least in my experience, they have been really, really kind about it.
Yeah.
And they were accepting of the Americans, except when you are like you talk a lot on the subway. It's like really, really silent on. They have this tram system. It's not a subway, it's a tram, but this tram system, and that was, I think, the big conversations we have a lot in our honors class is in America. In a lot of places in America, it's always noisy. That, like, at least for me, some points I'm like, not noisy in places that it traditionally would be noisy, like a hallway, a tram, a bus. I was like so uneasy, but that's their thing. Like they
It's
are
just silent
silent
on the trams?
Yes.
That's so weird.
It's like, yeah, and that was a lot of our things, and it's like just because it seems weird to us because that's not our culture, but there was, I think, a beauty and a growth in that. Just because it's new doesn't mean it's bad. And I think that was some of the coolest things that I learned from Prague is trying the new things. We did, I forget, what are they called? Canoes, the boating down the river, with like the rapids. Super fun. Český Krumlov was the best place ever. They have a bear in their castle thing.
A bear?
A bear, like it. So I.
Like an actual bear?
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like Jay was like trying to pull my leg in some of the stories he would tell me, but I think some of this has truth to it because the bear was there. That apparently the bear, like, them protected, I guess. It's like there's the entrance to the little fortress or the castle thing, and then the bears are like on either side. There's the one bear on one side and one bear on the other, and they're like in little cages. But I guess, like, I don't really know how they got there. There was like a story, but I don't remember it.
That's good. Because, like, bears are not native to the
No,
area.
they are not native to the Czech Republic, but...
That's so interesting. Because I'm going this summer, I'm so excited to go to the bone churches. When I found out about those, I was like, I'd never heard of something like that before.
Those are so scary. I, like, wasn't expecting it to be, like, so, like... I was kind of excited to go, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I'm so excited to kind of see what it was about. And, like, chills went down my spine when you saw all the bones, like... I don't know, like, because, well, we went to this one, and it was kind of, at least for me, kind of disturbing. Like, it was just, like, there was, like, the bones on the top of the churches, or, like, whatever, and then there was just, like, a big pile of bones in the middle, and I was like, I don't know if I should be in here right now.
Yeah, I'm just excited to experience it.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever it may be. It will be fun. Okay, that's very cool. I do have a throwback for you.
Okay.
So... I have access to the Honors Challenge archive. So I have your Kill the Noise challenge photo. One of them.
Oh, no.
From what I can see, it looks like you were attempting the big challenge. Where you, like, keep doing it every week.
Oh, yes, I did. I got an honors sweatshirt from it.
Yes. Nice. It was fun. Here's your Kill the Noise challenge. You're, like, kicking out your friends out of the room. It's like, I need to kill the noise. I need to kill my friends.
Yeah, I love that.
That was good. I don't know who these people are, but...
Oh, that's Emma Jerrier. She's I loved her. And then Austin ended up leaving the school, but he was here for our first year, I think. So
Yeah.
that was who was in my... Well, Emma was my suite mate, and, like, she would always be in my room, and we would always be chatting. That's my biggest downfall still to this day is...
You be chatting?
Yeah, I'm a big yapper. I will...
Do people visit you when you're on RA duty? And you chatting up, or you just...
Yeah, a lot of times they did. We now are allowed in our rooms until 11, so less people visit me because who wants to visit at 11 to 1 a.m.? But, yeah, they did, especially when I was in, like, Finch, and a lot of my residents don't come visit me now, but they do come visit, and they'll chat up me and my RA friends, so it's been fun to get to know, or even I'll chat up the people that walk by, or security guards, like, I'll learn about their day and everything. So.
That's fun. That's a great quality to have. I love that for you. All right, ready for something philosophical?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. Dance, right?
Uh-huh.
Why do we continue to dance as people? And why does dance continue to change? Like the style and the...
So for dance, I would say, like, at least why we dance, like, I feel like at least for me, I struggle with articulating my words in terms of emotions. Like, I like for people to see the happy sides and stuff. So I think in many capacities, dance gives you the ability to express emotion in a way that is helpful and releasing and healing in ways for both the audience and the people that are doing it. Because I've had different people that have come up to me after different pieces. I just did one about legacy, and it was about my dance teacher and how she died when I was 12, but her biggest thing, and I feel like she's still one of my biggest inspirations to this day, was how do you leave people better and places better than you found it. And so I think, and people have come up and told me, like, that one really touched me. They had candles, and they left the candles, kind of symbolizing how do you share the legacy of the people and keep the people that have gone before us alive. And they would share and be like, that reminded me of so-and-so that in their family. Or like one of them said it reminded me of their mom, and like that's what they needed. And I think for the audience and for the people involved, it can be a really healing process. So I think that's why we continue to dance, because you ask many dancers why they dance. It's because, one, it's fun and it's active, but two is it's healing, it's emotional and vulnerable in a way that some people, including myself, are often scared to be. And in a way that it's not that you have to articulate in a certain way, you can just be, and it's a vulnerable experience. So I think that's the cool part about that. In terms of why does it keep changing, I think as a society, as we move and grow, we just all kind of evolve. And I think the cool thing about dance is it starts out with roots in different cultures, and then it kind of just, one person takes it and starts making it their own, and then the next person will make it their own from that. So I think, honestly, why it keeps changing is the more people that continue to do it, the more people kind of add their own take, and that's how it keeps evolving. And the more people that get involved with it, it just continues to grow and continues to morph based on like how different people learn and grow from each other.
That's great. That's beautiful. And then do you have a direction you wish dance would go next? In terms of like what style should come back, or like a practice of dance. Like I always talk to our friend Mary Gomez that we should bring back more social dancing.
Yeah.
And like, because when we learned about in jazz, like there's no audience in a type of jazz dance, and like we're all like audience and performers, and it just like, just as part of like a cultural tradition. I wish that would become more of a thing.
I'm a big tapper, and I miss authentic tap dance. I think a lot of the tap dances have gone to, a lot of them have gone a lot more theatrical, and I love that aspect of tap, like singing in the rain type things. But authentically, tap is from African dance and different cultures like that, and originally was done to different instruments. So I think there's a cool thing when you take it, like you just hear tap with drums.
Yeah.
And sadly that didn't work out with my capstone. That was one of the things I wanted to explore with capstone. Yeah, to go back to the roots, and because I think in some respects, for dance at least, we have a lot to learn from our roots, and I think it's really cool that we can change and evolve, but I think it's important to remember those roots. And so at least for me, I would love to see more authentic tap, like tap to drums and natural tap and acoustic tap, and kind of similar to your social dance points, like tap where one person taps and then another person writes a rhythm kind of back. So the cool thing about tap is you have those metal on the bottom of your heels and your toes. So you kind of can talk in a way without talking. So I would love to bring back that conversational tap or that authentic tap a little bit more than you see typically.
That's fun. Now I really want to see you in like a tap dance battle with someone. That'd be really fun. You're just like fighting them, tapping.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. All right. Well, this has been a really fun conversation.
Yeah, it has. I've been really enjoyed being here.
I have one more question for you.
Okay.
And it's not my question.
Okay.
So I have a tradition on the podcast where the previous guest has left you a question.
Okay.
And then you'll have an opportunity to leave a question for the next guest as well. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The previous guest wants to ask you, what is the funniest memory you have from living in Finch?
Oh, there's so many good ones. What story should I tell? Well, so I did accidentally set off the fire alarm one time.
No.
And the funniest part is the fact that it was, in fact, over a brownie from the calf that I was rewarming in the microwave. So we had a lot of people in my room. The one night I lived on the first floor, like right by the laundry room, and so people would just kind of walk in. I always had my door not bagged, but like open most of the time. And so at one point there was like 10 people in my room, and we'd write different things on the whiteboard and be watching TV, like we'd be watching Friends and whatnot. And I was like, oh, like, I forget who it was, but I was like, oh, can you like warm up this brownie for me? And they put it in for 2.5 minutes. I guess they meant to put like the 30 seconds or whatever, but they accidentally put it for 2.5 minutes. And like, I didn't realize they had put it in, so I left, and we come back and like the whole microwave's on fire. So that was an experience, and because then the whole fire like department had to come, and everyone was like, who set this off? It was like 12 o'clock at night at this point. I was like, but there was also the fact that one wasn't as funny as I remember it to be, but like it was one of those that like you had to be there. But I guess another really funny one was Jay was so excited. Like, so the last day before we went to Prague, we did this on like Finch, I guess, send off or whatever. And there was like so many of us. Not so many. I feel like there was like 30 people. I don't know. A good amount of people that went to the Prague trip. And we were making these pizzas. Jay and Lepowski were like, this is going to be great. This is going to, like, we're going to make 40 or so pizzas in an hour. No. No pizzas were cooked. We all made all these pizzas. There was like 40 of them. And at one point, like, you know the Finch oven, there was like 10 or 15 pizzas in the oven at once. Yeah. They were all burnt. None of them were good. We ended up throwing them out into the fire pit that we had. And so we were out like making so much more out pizza, and then we went out to the fire pit, and the RD had called the fire department on us for having a fire pit out there. So we come out. Jay comes out with all of these pizzas that are not done, and was like, "This is not gonna work." Hedman's trying to ward off the fire department because we weren't supposed to have the fire pit or whatever. But like we're like the only people on campus at this point. It's like May 12th. Like we're about to leave for Prague. So that was really funny because I felt like it was just like, I don't know, very honors, very like we had to hide a fire pit. The ovens weren't working. I think we broke the ovens that night. And then there's just like random people playing volleyball in the background while all this is happening, and it was just really, really wild. I have some other ones, but
I think that's great.
Yeah.
That was good. All right, I'll pass this to you, and then you can leave one more question. I suppose choose your color. You can put it down there.
Okay.